Taylor here with Agri Drones. Today we are testing the brand new AutoMixer version 4 out in the field. That's the best way to do it. We're running exactly how we would and how we will this summer with two J100s on our trailer, cycling, takeoffs and landings, trying to get that pattern down nicely, and running the AutoMixer to make sure that our pilots have product when they need product. So I thought it'd be good to show you guys how we actually operate in the field with these drones, how the AutoMixer helps us, and kind of some of the software and some of the functions and features of the AutoMixer. Here we have a J100 coming in. What the guys are doing right now is kind of practicing some manual takeoffs and landings on the trailer with the J100s. We haven't operated the J100s on a trailer that much. Normally we're on the ground with the Roadrunner unit, which is really nice for getting into tight spaces back to the back of the fields. When you have wide open fields like this, especially when you have tall corn, a trailer where you can get up high, see across your crop, maintain connection, maintain line of sight is really nice. It's just you have to figure out that landing cycle, that landing sequence, and the takeoff cycle whenever you have two drones and two pilots up there. Okay, Alex is filling up right now, so let's go ahead and take a look at the AutoMixer. So you can see on the trailer we have our generators on the back side. That's providing power to our chargers on top and power to our AutoMixer. We have two of our front tanks full of water right now. That's just straight water in those tanks there. We have our AutoMixer unit here. This is actually how it would look in the field if you're actually doing spraying. You might have your chemical storage up here on the front of the trailer or in the back of your truck. Otherwise, this is exactly how it would look. So up here, we have our AutoMixer Caddy. We have our touch screen right here. It's running all of our automation right now. So you can see on the screen, it's actually running right now. We're pumping in water. We're pumping in 4 products. You can see we have pump 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all running at different rates right now and running direct injection into our batch tank. So the way this system works, we're not actually technically creating batches. We're actually creating a blend. So we have our pumps on the front. You can see each of these pumps are turning at different RPMs. We have our carrier pumps here. They're running really fast right now. Both of these are putting in about 1.8 gallons per minute on both of these pumps. They're both pulling in water from our water tank. This is pulling from this tank here. This is pulling from this tank. This from the back tank, and this from this tank here. So with the AutoMixer, you can do water plus 4 products. And you can actually reroute that second larger pump over to one of your totes if you're doing foliar fertilizer or something that requires a higher volume. Those are going to all directly feed from the tanks and from our water source into our batch tank. And they're going to run at the correct RPMs to get the appropriate ratio. So if you need, let's just say, 32 ounces of foliar feed, 10 ounces of fungicide, 4 ounces of insecticide, and maybe a ½ ounce per acre of your adjuvant or sticker or whatever you're using here, then you can do that, and it's all automated. This system's going to count our volume in our tanks. So you can see we're down to about 340 gallons of water left. Pump 2 is about 250. And this is going to actually alarm us whenever we get down to a gallon. That's all changeable. You can make that a ½ gallon, a quart, an ounce, whatever. If we dump in more product on this tank here, our pump 4, we just hit change, add in our jug, add 2.5 gallons, hit submit, and there you see it counts up by 2.5 gallons. This is all being recirculated right now. We have about a 25 gallon per minute pump right down there. That's pulling from our cone tank and feeding back up into the top of our cone tank. It's running constantly, so it's constantly recirculating. And it's always providing pressure to that hose up top. So whenever they're filling the drone, all they have to do is pick the hose up, crack the valve, and they instantly have pressure. They're drawing from it right now, actually. Here we have our jug rinse on here. So after you dump in your jug into one of these tanks, you just stick it over right here, crack this valve, and then you can rinse your jug out into your batch tank. This is all water right now. We just have colored dye in here, so it looks cooler. Okay, so this system is going to run continuously until one of 3 things happen. Either one of our tanks here, our product tanks, gets low or empty, Then it will alert us and we'll pause the system. It's going to stop whenever this batch tank is full. There's actually a level sensor in there, so when it trips the level sensor, it pauses the system and then it restarts whenever it drops the level sensor. Or it's going to pause whenever we hit pause, or we have a total mix limit here. So you see we've mixed up about 70 gallons total. It's only a 35-gallon tank, so it's actually refilled itself twice. But if we only want it to go to, let's say, 100 gallons, we're just doing 50 acres, then the system will stop, it will pause itself whenever this hits 100 gallons. This is really nice if you have, let's say, a 50-acre field, and you start spraying it. We're going to make this 45 acres. In that last 5 acres, we might actually only be able to spray 48 of that. So instead of mixing 2 acres extra of product, we just bump this up whenever we get to that point at the end of the field. That's it. So literally to start it, I'll pause it and I'll show you what you do to start it. So we're gonna hit finish. There's our reports. So whenever you get to the system here, whenever before you start your drones up, you just hit start. You make sure that all your products are in there correctly, your rates are correct, and your application volume, and of course operator, client, farm, field is correct. Everything else is automatic. You can prime your pumps to get them up to your batch tank. You hit next and you hit start, and that's it. Literally, that is it. As long as you got product in here, as long as you got water, it's gonna run, and just one less thing to really think about. Okay, as far as coming out of the AutoMixer. So right here we have our hose reel. This is plumbed into our pump on a 3-way valve right here. So we can send from our pump to the hose reel or out of this cam lock fitting, which we're doing right now. So we're coming out of the cam lock fitting and we're pumping that upstairs. We also have this pumped in for recirculation. Why do we need recirculation here whenever we have it here? Let's just say that the AutoMixer quits, it fails, a pump goes bad, whatever. Well, if that happens, you can actually turn the AutoMixer into an induction tank. So on the back side over there, we actually have, I'll get over there so you can see me. We're pulling in water from this hose right here. We can switch that and we can pull our water in right here on this cam lock fitting. We can turn this valve off and that will pump water from one of our water tanks. And then we can blow that water back up into one of the empty tanks. And then we can crack the valve on the bottom of this tank. We can turn this system into essentially an induction tank. So we can dump our chemical straight in here and then induct that directly into our empty tank that we're batch mixing into. So it's kind of a fail-safe feature, I guess you should say. Okay, we've got this tank here. This is basically our freshwater tank. You want to rinse your hands, and you can crack this valve here, and you can rinse off your gloves, rinse off your hands, do whatever you need to do right there with just clean, fresh water. It's going to save all of the reports, so whenever we're done, you can see our level sensor actually tripped right there. So I will go ahead and finish that. Whenever you finish, it actually saves that report in there. This is a condensed version of that report. So it only shows us, operator, client, farm, field, and our total product and total flow rate, stuff like that. But you can actually export this to a USB, and you can actually get that on your computer in a much larger format. And there you see I started the AutoMixer, but I already knew that the tank was full, level sensor's on, so it's not running until they suck more water out of that tank. So what is this system for? Why do you need a complex system like this to solve a simple problem of mixing chemical? Well, as we see drone operators grow their business, hire pilots, a lot of these pilots, they might be very skilled on operating the drone, mapping and flying and things like that, not so skilled or not so confident in mixing chemical. And that's where you can really have a quick and expensive mistake, mixing too much product or too little product, or the wrong rates, things like that. This system here matches very closely to the drone system. If this says 2 gallons per acre, so does the drone. And you can have one lead essentially create the work order on here, so they know what I need. All they have to do is just hit start, and it does it for them. And then they just have to make sure they dump the right product in the right tank. We just slap our labels on this tank. That way when we grab the jug, it has the correct label on it. We go in here to the correct label on here. So it's designed to, first off, simplify for experienced operators who want to cover a lot of acres, and simplify for operators who have a lot of pilots with lower skill levels on mixing chemical. Here you see our pump 2 just ran dry. We have an alert on here. It stopped the system. So we would add product to our pump 2. And let's just say we dump in 5 gallons, hit submit, there it changes that, hit start, and now our system is running again. Okay, I think that's about it on the AutoMixer. You guys saw it's keeping up with 2 J100s. They're doing a 2-gallon per acre rate right now on a big field. It's designed to keep up with 2 drones at a 2-gallon rate, actually even up to about a 3.5-gallon rate with 2 drones. So if you have any questions on this, if you would like to see a demo for yourself or get your hands on a unit, we have a limited number going out into the season 2025. Give us a call, let us know. Thanks.